Hello and welcome to another video. It is that time where I am going to be bringing you some of my anticipated releases that are coming out between October and December 2021. I have 100% missed loads off this. I was putting together my list and my brain was just going, you have definitely missed some. But there's quite a few on this list. Most of them are October, but there are a few November and December releases. They are also including a few sequels. So for the sequels, I will not read you the blurbs because probably going to spoil earlier books in the series for you if I do that. So without further ado, let's just jump into the October releases. So on the 5th of October, we have Vespatine by Margaret Rogerson. So for this, the blurb says, "The dead of Laurel do not rest. Artemisia is training to be a Grey Sister, a nun who cleanses the bodies of the deceased so that their souls can pass on. Otherwise, they will raise as spirits with a ravenous hunger for the living. She would rather deal with the dead than the living, who trade whispers about her scarred hands and troubled past. When her convent is attacked by possessed soldiers, Artemisia defends it by awakening an ancient spirit bound to a saint's relic. It is a revenant, a malevolent being that threatens to possess her the moment she drops her guard. Wielding its extraordinary power almost consumes her, but death has come to Laurel, and only a Vespatine, a priestess trained to wield a high relic, has any chance of stopping it. With all knowledge of Vespatine's lost to time, Artemisia turns to the last remaining expert for help, the Revenant itself. As she unravels a sinister mystery of saints, secrets and dark magic, her bond with the Revenant grows, and when a hidden evil begins to surface, she discovers that facing this enemy might require her to betray everything she has been taught to believe if the Revenant doesn't betray her first." I'm a fan of Margaret Rogerson's writing. I really liked An Enchantment of Ravens and I really liked Sorcery of Thorns, so I'm hoping I'm going to absolutely adore this book. I have pre-ordered the Fairy Loot edition. I also do have an e-arc of this, but chances of me reading it before release date are very slim because this is me you're talking to. But I am very excited for this. I'm excited to see what Margaret Rogerson brings because I've liked her books so far. So she is an auto-buy author for me. Next up, and also on the 5th of October, is Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerry Maniscalco. So obviously this is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked, which is an enemies to lovers YA fantasy. However, we have been made aware that Kingdom of the Cursed will be new adult, which, yes, I'm here for this. It's enemies to lovers. She summons a prince of hell, Wrath, who is amazing. I love Wrath. And loads of other stuff happens. There's witchcraft, there's other demons like princes of hell and demons and everything, and it is just a really fun, gripping book and I really enjoyed it and I'm really excited for Kingdom of the Cursed. Again, I do have the Fairy Loot edition pre-ordered because I do have the Fairy Loot edition of the first book, so this is probably going to be one I'm going to try to get to almost as soon as it arrives on my doorstep. Next up, we have Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone, which the release date I'm finding says the 12th of October, but I think the US release is the 28th of September. I could be wrong on that. I am showing you the US cover here because as beautiful as the UK cover is, the US cover is just stunning and I'm obsessed with the US cover. I might put the UK cover here as well. We'll see. Maybe if you're lucky. But the blurb for this is, "There are monsters in the world. When Violetta Gracelyn arrives at haunted Lake's Edge estate, she expects to find a monster. She knows the terrifying rumours about Rowan Sylvanon, who drowned his entire family when he was a boy, but neither the estate nor the monster are what they seem. There are monsters in the woods. As Letta falls for Rowan, she discovers he is bound to the Lord Under, the sinister death god lurking in the black waters of the lake, a creature to whom Letta is inexplicably drawn. There's a monster in the shadows, and now it knows my name. Now, to save Rowan and herself, Letta must confront the darkness in her past, including unravelling the mystery of her connection to the Lord Under." So it does say perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and Bridget Kemmerer. Now, I've never read anything by Naomi Novik and I'm not really drawn to, but I've liked every single thing I've read by Bridget Kemmerer, which is most of her books. And I've heard that this is for fans of Crimson Peak, which, if you don't know, it's a gothic horror type film which is starring Tom Hiddleston. He plays Sir Thomas Sharpe and he's amazing, and anything to do with Crimson Peak I'm here for. So I'm really excited to read this. I am hoping to get the US edition. I'm on a hunt for it because I prefer the US edition. Just saying. Next up, on the 19th of October, we have Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. So the blurb is, once upon a time, there was a horrible girl. Vanja Schmidt knows that no gift is freely given, not even a mother's love, and she's on the hook for one hell of a debt. Vanja, the adopted goddaughter of Death and Fortune, was Princess Giselle's dutiful servant up until a year ago. That was when Vanja's otherworldly mothers demanded a terrible price for their care, and Vanja decided to steal her future back by stealing Giselle's life for herself. The real Giselle is left a penniless nobody, while Vanja uses an enchanted string of pearls to take her place. Now, Vanja leads a lonely but lucrative double life as princess and jewel thief, charming nobility while emptying their coffers to fund her great escape. Then, one heist away from freedom, Vanja crosses the wrong god and is cursed to an untimely end, turning into jewels, stone by stone, for her greed. Vanja has just 2 weeks to figure out how to break her curse and make her getaway, and with a feral guardian half-god, Giselle's sinister fiancé, and an over-eager junior detective on Vanja's tail, she'll have to pull the biggest grift yet to save her own life. So this is a retelling of The Goose Girl, which I don't know anything about. However, I am a fan of Margaret Owen. I have read The Merciful Crow. I have not yet read the sequel to that duology, but I do own it. It's up there. But I really loved The Merciful Crow and I really loved Margaret Owen's writing, and I am very intrigued to read this. And you guessed it, I have an e-arc of this that I have not yet read. I'm really hoping I can finish my September TBR early enough that I can squeeze in a couple of e-arcs, and if I do, this will probably be one of them because I'm really anticipating this. But we'll see. That is something that will come in a vlog at some point, but I'm really excited for this, and I'm hoping, I think one of the book boxes I get is doing an edition of this, and I'm hoping so. If not, I'm gonna have to go on a hunt for the hardback version because I have her other books in hardback. Also on the 19th of October, we have A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. That is always a mouthful to say, that name. I always just refer to her as JLA. So this is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series, which is actually a prequel series to the Blood and Ash series. So many series, so many prequels. Oh, I'm so excited for this content that JLA has given us. So I am going to read you the blurb for this because it is not a sequel, it is a prequel, and I don't think it gives away anything from the books. I've read the first 2 books in the Blood and Ash series and this does not give away anything, so I think I'm safe to read this. So it's got, born shrouded in the veil of the primals, a maiden as the fates promised, Seraphina Miriel's future has never been hers. Chosen before birth to uphold the desperate deal her ancestor struck to save his people, Sarah must leave behind her life and offer herself to the primal of death as his consort. However, Sarah's real destiny is the most closely guarded secret in all of Lasania. She's not the well-protected maiden, but an assassin with one mission, one target. Make the primal of death fall in love, become his weakness, and then end him. If she fails, she dooms her kingdom to slow demise at the hands of the rot. Sarah has always known what she is. Chosen, consort, assassin, weapon. A spectre never fully formed, yet drenched in blood. A monster, until the primal of death's unexpected words and deeds chase away the darkness gathering inside her. And his seductive touch ignites a passion she's never allowed herself to feel and cannot feel for him. But Sarah has never had a choice. Either way, her life is forfeit. It always has been, and as she has forever been touched by life and death. I'm so excited. I really need to get to the 3rd Blood and Ash book, but I'm scared because I've heard very mixed things about it. But I've heard nothing but hype for people being excited for this one, and I think it's because it's something new and we get a bit more background, and I'm just really excited. So yeah, I'm definitely getting this one when it comes out. And then the final release for October that I am really anticipating, and it's I think this is the only adult contemporary on this list. I don't read much contemporary, especially not like anticipated releases, but I found this one and it sounds amazing. It's coming out on the 28th of October and it's called Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lau. So I'm going to read you the blurb because it sounds so good. A baker provides the sweetest escape for an actor in this charming romantic comedy. Actor Ryan Kwok is back in Toronto after the promotional tour of his latest film, a rom-com that is getting less than stellar reviews. After the sudden death of his mother and years of constant work, Ryan is taking some much-needed time off. But as he tries to be supportive to his family, he struggles with the loss and doesn't know how to talk to his dad, who now trolls him on Twitter instead of meeting him for dim sum. Innovative baker Lindsay McLeod meets Ryan when he knocks over 24 specialty donuts at her bakery. Their relationship is off to a messy start, but there's no denying their immediate attraction. When Ryan signs up for a celebrity episode of Baking Fail, he asks Lindsay to teach him how to bake and she agrees. As Lindsay and Ryan spend time together bonding over grief and bubble tea, it starts to feel like they're cooking up something sweeter than cupcakes in the kitchen. It's food. And it just sounds so good. And there's not many contemporaries I say that about, but it sounds amazing. And this is one I'm definitely going to pre-order because I really want to read this. Okay, so now we move on to November, and the first one is the 2nd of November, and that's You've Reached Sam by Dustin Theo. So the blurb for this is, 17-year-old Julie has her future all planned out. Move out of her small town with her boyfriend Sam, attend college in the city, spend a summer in Japan. But then Sam dies and everything changes. Heartbroken, Julie skips his funeral, throws out his things and tries everything to forget him and the tragic way he died. But a message Sam left behind in her yearbook forces back memories. Desperate to hear his voice one more time, Julie calls Sam's cell phone just to listen to his voicemail, and Sam picks up the phone. In a miraculous turn of events, Julie's been given a second chance at goodbye. The connection is temporary, but hearing Sam's voice makes her fall for him all over again, and with each call it becomes harder to let go. However, keeping her otherworldly calls with Sam a secret isn't easy, especially when Julie witnesses the suffering Sam's family is going through. Unable to stand by the sidelines and watch their shared loved ones in pain, Julie is torn between spilling the truth about her calls with Sam and risking their connection and losing him forever. This one's gonna hurt. I, funnily enough, discovered this one after WandaVision. So obviously the TV show come out at the beginning of the year for WandaVision, and I saw a few people tweeting saying, oh, if you like WandaVision, you might enjoy this book that's coming out at the end of the year, and it's You've Reached Sam. And I read the blurb and instantly I was like, I need this book so badly. So this is definitely a one I'm going to pick up, even though I know it's going to have me sobbing my heart out. But the cover is also absolutely stunning. I'm in awe of it. The next book is on the 9th of November, and that is Auroras End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the third book in the Aurora Cycle series. I believe this is only a trilogy, so this is the final book. I have not yet read the second book, but I am scared because I know what these authors do to their characters. And yeah, I'm hoping to read the second book before the third book comes out. We'll see if that actually does happen. But I'm really excited for this, and the cover is green, which, yes, favourite colour, and it looks stunning. I'm obsessed with it. But I'm really excited for this. Obviously, not going to spoil anything, but it's YA sci-fi. It's got found family, which I love. It's got the humour that Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff bring to YA sci-fi. If you've not read the Aurora series, but you've read the Illuminae series, I have heard a few people didn't like both. I personally really loved Aurora Rising, and I adore the Illuminae series, and I think the humour in both is quite similar, and it's funny. But I know there are some people that loved Illuminae, hated Aurora, and vice versa, but each to their own. I personally am very excited for this, even though I haven't read the second book yet. And yeah. Next up is the 11th of November, and we have Tink and Wendy by Kelly Ann Jacobson. I'm going to read you the blurb because, oh yes, I need this. What happens when Tinkerbell is in love with both Peter Pan and Wendy? In this sparkling reimagining of Peter Pan, Peter and Wendy's granddaughter Hope Darling finds the reclusive Tinkerbell squatting at the Darling mansion in order to care for the graves of her 2 lost friends after a love triangle gone awry. As Hope wins the fairy's trust, Tink tells her the truth about Wendy and Peter and her own role in their ultimate fate. Told in 3 alternating perspectives, past, present and excerpts from a book called Neverland, A History, written by Tink's own fairy godmother, this queer adaptation is for anyone who has ever wondered if there might have been more to the story of Tinkerbell and the rest of the Peter Pan legend. I have no words. I love retellings, and I love Peter Pan, and I love queer, so I'm very excited for this. This was an accidental find. I was just searching through releases, getting together my list to find out like release dates for the books that I had on my list, and I found this and was like, this is being added because it sounds amazing. And also look at that cover, it's gorgeous. I'm obsessed. So yeah, this is what I'm really looking forward to. And then the final November one is also the 11th of November, and it is All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. So, the blurb for this. After the publication of a Saltius tell-all book, the remote city of Ilvernath is thrust into worldwide spotlight. Tourists, protesters and reporters flock to its spell shops and ruins to witness an ancient curse unfold. Every generation, 7 families name a champion among them to compete in a tournament to the death. The winner awards their family exclusive control over the city's high magic supply, the most powerful resource in the world. In the past, the villainous Lows have won nearly every tournament, and their champion is prepared to continue his family's reign. But this year, thanks to the influence of their newfound notoriety, each of the champions has a means to win, or better yet, a chance to rewrite their story. But this is a story that must be penned in blood. This sounds so good. We love a villain story. Love anything to do with villains or bad guys or like morally grey, and this sounds really good, and it's got a tournament. Like, yes please. I have read Christine Lynn Herman's duology, Devouring Grey and Deck of Omens. Really enjoyed those books. I've never read anything by Amanda Foody, but I'm very excited to see what this book is about, like what it actually is. It sounds so good and I'm here for it. So now for December, I only have 3. The first 2 are both the 7th of December. So we have The Righteous by Renee Addier. I've probably pronounced that name wrong, I apologise. This is the 3rd book in the Beautiful series, which is I'm pretty sure it's a YA fantasy. It is vampires. It's set in New Orleans, and it's amazing. I loved the first one. It's a pattern. I haven't yet read the second one. I do have The Damned, but I have not yet read it, and I do have the Fairy Loot editions, so of course I pre-ordered the Fairy Loot edition of The Righteous. But yeah, I'm excited to continue this series and then finish it when The Righteous comes out. I really enjoyed The Beautiful. I thought it was really good, and it sort of started rekindling my love for vampire books, which just then continued with more books like Empire of the Vampire. So yeah, I'm really excited to finish this series. And then also on the 7th, we have The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. So the blurb for this is: Elise Beaumont is cursed. With every touch, she experiences exactly how her loved ones will die. And after her brother's death, a death she predicted but was unable to prevent, Elise is desperate to get rid of her terrible gift no matter the cost. Claire Montgomery also has a unique relationship with death, mostly because she's already dead. Technically anyway. Claire is a vampire and she's been assigned to the Vale to help Elise master her rare Death Oracle powers. At first, Elise is reluctant to work with a vampire, but when she predicts the teacher's imminent murder, she's determined to stop the violent death, even if it means sacrificing her own future to secure Claire's help. The trouble is, Claire and Elise aren't the only paranormals in town. A killer is stalking the streets, and Claire can't seem to shake the pull she feels towards Elise, a romance that could upend the Vale's mission. But as Elise and Claire grow close, Elise begins to wonder, can she really trust someone tasked with securing her loyalty? Someone who could so easily kill her? Someone who might hold the key to unravelling her brother's mysterious death? Now, I have read Isabel Sterling's other book. Well, I've read the first book in the Witches Don't Burn series. So the first book is These Witches Don't Burn. I have not yet read the sequel to it, but I loved the first book. It was incredible. Witches, like, yes, queer witches. And this is queer oracle vampire romance. I'm here for it. But it also then has the mystery and figuring out her powers, and I'm just so excited. I love Isabel Sterling's writing in These Witches Don't Burn, and I'm really excited to see how she brings vampires into it because, as I just said, vampires. And then the final book I have on my list today is the 28th of December, and it's Here's to Us by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. This is the sequel to What If It's Us, which follows Ben and Arthur, and it's a YA contemporary romance, and it's very cliche and cute. Usually I don't like that, but I love it when Adam and Becky write it. So I'm very glad to see that there is going to be a sequel. I'm intrigued as to what it's going to be about, because I think the first book, it was originally a standalone, and it does wrap up very nicely as a standalone. So I'm kind of going to go into this blind. I have not read the blurb for the second book. I don't want to know what it's about. I'm just going to go in blind and just see what they do with a sequel. But I am really excited for this. I loved the first book, and I look forward to reading this book. So that was my anticipated releases. I cannot find a conclusive list of middle grades that are being released October to December. So I will inevitably add more to this list, but for now I cannot, and there will not be a video to it. However, I do know that Gavin over at How to Train Your Gavin does also do anticipated releases videos for each quarter, and I do believe that will probably be coming up soon, because this is the time of year you get all the last quarter, and he does significantly anticipate middle grades, so I am looking forward to seeing that. And also, if you want to see the middle grades, check his channel out and keep an eye out, because he will most likely be posting that. I could be wrong, he might not, but I'm expecting it because he usually does. But I'm really excited for these books, and now I'm going to make a start on the list for the first quarter of next year, which I already have one book on the list, which was supposed to be a December 2021 release and got pushed back to January. It's my favourite book of 2021. If you watch my wrap-ups and my vlogs, you'll know what book it is. But that's the only sneak peek you're getting for next year's. I'm really looking forward to these books. I have definitely missed some. If there's any anticipated releases, even if they're sequels, that you're looking forward to for the last 3 months of the year, let me know in the comments below, because I'd like to know what I have missed off my own list, and if there is something that I am anticipating that I have missed off this list somehow. So please let me know in the comments your anticipated releases for the end of the year. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye!